one of the top contributors to the Mets' success in this young season has continued to be the depth on the roster, especially the Mets' outfield depth, which has been reliable offensively, defensively, and more. Across the Mets, 4 primary outfielders in Starling Marte, Brandon Nimmo, Harrison Bader, and Tyrone Taylor. The Mets lineup is deeper than it has been in a while. Mets outfielders are slashing .275, .350, .412 with 8 home runs combined, 38 runs batted in, 13 stolen bases, with a 118 weighted runs created plus, combining for 1.3 wins above replacement. If you want to count DJ Stewart as an outfielder, he's also given the Mets some great power protection. Pre-JD Martinez with 3 home runs and an OPS in the 900s across 44 plate appearances. With the top bats still trying to find their footing in April, the Mets have also recently received offensive contributions from Jeff McNeil, Brett Beatty, Omar Narvaez, and Joey Wendell, who have all plated runs in high leverage situations so far this season.
To me, the big one is Starling Marte. I mean, we talk about like, okay, this team struggled last year. What's the big difference between last year and this year? It's Marte. I mean, seeing him again, he's still not quite 2022 level, but he's still providing much more value than he was last year. I mean, he was a negative last year. This year, he is certainly a positive. So I think seeing that by itself is really key. But right now, all the outfielders are kind of beating their projections. Like, obviously, Harrison Bader is doing better than anyone could have projected offensively. We'll see if that stays. Same thing with Tyrone Taylor. He's beating his projections. DJ Stewart. Like, all these guys are just performing better than expected. And it's something that, this team really needed. Like, they added these guys and Taylor and Bader in the offseason, hoping to give them a little more. Really, it was more so from a defensive standpoint, give them some help in that department. But they've been able to provide it in both areas, which has been really key. When, we've talked about the outfield depth has been a problem for a while. So seeing that change is big. But I think it goes more so than, as you touched on, just more so everyone contributing, like we said. Like, you're just having so many guys that you didn't expect just to kind of play better. Like McNeil, he's a no who still is not the best version of him or second best version of him, but it's better than last year. You know what I mean? So it's like, as long as you're getting those improvements, that's what's key. And for them to just being productive players, being positive, being above league average across the board is really just what's kind of making this team kind of fire on all cylinders, so to speak. So it's been good to see. And, the thing was that they were supposed to be here for run prevention and for, their fielding abilities. Fielding still hasn't been good. I mean, Marte had an ugly one today where he was just not looking good moving laterally. It's a weird play. Obviously, Joey Wendell, the routine plays just can't make them. There's still quite a few mistakes in the field. So, again, these guys are here for defense, but it's actually their offense that's picking up. And I really don't anticipate Bader and Taylor staying at this level. Even Wendell, as much as you despise him, he's like a 118 WRC plus right now. A super small sample size. So, and DJ Stewart came into the game with over 1,000 OPS. Like, that stuff isn't going to stay. But I think as long as these guys, like I said, are just being above league average, the Mets will be a good team. It's just that I hope that the fall off once it happens isn't too drastic, and it's not like the 0-5 team that we saw. They just need to find like some happy medium between the team that loses 5 in a row and wins 5 in a row. If they can just find some middle ground, they'll be all right.
At this current moment, Starling Marte, of course, is full-on standout of he has just been the spark plug that we obviously need him to be, and he's just been providing so much offensively that I just did not expect. I mean, we saw him in that LA series. He is so red hot right now that there are outside pitches that he is hitting over 100 miles an hour right now. He is just been swinging a great bat. As for his defense, I just wanted to bring this up. Please move him to left field. Please move Starling Marte to left field. Listen, I know Tyrone Taylor or Nimmo should be playing left field or whatever. That was the case. I talked about this with the Mets outfield before the season started. I think I was solo for this one. I want to see the Mets, obviously, rotate Marte, Bader, and Nimmo in any position possible except Marte in center field. I don't want to see Marte in center field. I do want to see Marte move to left field at this current point because his defense has become a liability. It really has. His defense is a liability. And listen, I'm not really saying that as a knock on the guy. He's 35 years old. I mean, those legs are not going to be the same legs out there in the outfield. He's still not running at 100% either on the base pass. There are still some limits as of right now, and I think that with the arm that Starling Marte does still possess, it's still solid. Put the guy in left field, please. He's played left field before, also to keep him healthy. I'm okay with putting Nimmo in center field. Again, he's played some center field as well. We expected Bader to be playing center field every single day. Nimmo's played a decent amount of center field as well. Starling Marte, he gives you value in pretty much every category in a spark plug type of way. It may be erratic, but it's a spark plug type of way. If he can't provide that type of defense, when we're talking about run prevention being a very important thing, a lot of pitchers pitching to contact, we have seen some costly mistakes already from Starling Marte. We saw it last year as well. He's getting older. They have to accept that a 35-year-old right fielder probably isn't a good idea. Now, as for Harrison Bader, this is kind of just goes off of history, I'd say, with the Mets. The Mets finally have a defensive first outfielder who actually can hit a fastball. It really is a miracle because when you look at it, the defensive first type of guys, they literally look so overmatched against high profile velocity. Is there a little bit too much swing and miss, a little too much chase with Harrison Bader? Yes. That's a bottom of the lineup type of guy. I will say one thing, that man's clutch. He is clutch. He comes through when you need him to come through. I understand, we were skeptical about this, but I don't think he's going to stay at that 300 mark, even though I don't give a shit. From the bottom of the lineup, he makes it deeper. Do I want to see him in the top half of the lineup? No. But overall, for the role that he was brought in to do, he's been really, really good. He's definitely exceeded expectations. I love Tyrone Taylor. I think I said this at the beginning. The guy's a gamer. He loves to swing. He loves to put the ball in play. He loves to wreak havoc everywhere. Pulls fly balls all the time. Pulls line drives. I love that. Again, another guy from the bottom of the lineup that has really built this foundation up as well. The situational hitting from this outfield in general has been really good. If the double play is in order with one of these guys up, I'm expecting them to either drive something in or lift the ball, advance the runner, something like that. I'm not seeing that many opportunities for the Mets to just ground into a double play with these four guys at the plate as of right now. Brandon Nimmo, we know hasn't been Brandon Nimmo, but he's still been the disciplined Brandon Nimmo. Good pitch selection, not chasing as much, not striking out, walking a lot. He's getting his quality ABs. Do I want to see more contact because he is pretty much underperforming a lot of his, expected numbers, a lot of his, hard hit rates and a lot of things like he definitely could be? Yes. But it's Nimmo. He's going to figure it out.
I think with Nimmo, he swung at the first pitch to open ball games.
He did
more this month than he's on a pace to just shatter what he normally does. So I think being able to adapt and kind of change the book, so to speak, or the game plan or the tablet, whatever they use to kind of scout the players as far as game plan, anything you can do to kind of change the game plan of another team, I'm always in for. I think you never want to be too predictable. So I love that about Nimmo. But to your point, I love the amount of sacrifice flies that we see with this team as a total. I don't know where they rank in strikeouts, but I don't think it's high.
They're low in strikeouts.
I would think so because you're right. I do see a lot of that. There is a lot of the balls put in play, but there was even a play today with Bader, and the Mets lost 10-0, but he beat out a ground ball that should have been a tailor-made double play, because of his speed. But the one thing I do like about Bader, I'll give him this. I like his energy. When he gets a big hit late, you see him just getting super fired up. You see the team getting fired up. And again, I just think that kind of fits this whole team's just high energy, never give up, just like these late games, like tight games, just fighting and putting together good at-bats, line drives. Like he's been part of them. He's been part of a lot of those like late big game hits. And he's one of the reasons why they have those really high numbers in those late innings. So I think that kind of energy is really it's contagious, and you see it throughout the team. So I'll give him that. I do like his energy. I think it definitely has been a positive impact on the rest of the guys.
I think that Bader is, at the end of the day, he's a solid lower third of the order type of player. I don't think that he's going to sustain this, but I don't think that we're very far off from what you're going to see from Harrison Bader as to where, this guy is going to be able, find his pitches, put them in play, make solid contact. And that's what is really good about him. He's a defensive outfielder, but he can The quality of contact is really good with him. He knows how to lift the ball. He's not an ant killer. He can do and provide a lot of things for this team. I'd say that, the defense it speaks for itself again. This entire roster, the Mets as a team, not as Alonso's the whole team or Lindor's the whole team or Nimmo's are the only one doing anything. The Mets as a team are holding down the fort until they are fully healthy. And that is what has been winning them games. What I said before this season even started, Stearns got you depth for a reason. He got you your depth to fill out this roster, to fill roles, and they can find a way to maximize that. That's what they are doing right now. At the end of the day, the Mets outfield has been very impressive. It hasn't been outstanding, but I would say as a collective unit, those four guys, they've all been above average, which makes a well above average outfield. Quantity, quality, there you go. Bada bing, bada boom, David Stoynes.